This week on the Rental Report Review. The rise and fall of a power-hungry mobster, Scarface, 1932. A terrifying tale of sluts and bolts, Frankenhooker, 1990. Thrill crazy, kill crazy, gun crazy. Gun crazy, 1950. One man, seven women in a strange house, The Beguiled, 1971. Innocent until betrayed, The Beguiled, 2017. Scarface. This film is a very curious cultural document in my humble opinion. I say that on no authority whatsoever. I don't know an awful lot about Howard Hughes, but I do know he's a very interesting guy, and probably not for the reasons that you think I might be thinking. I mean, maybe some of those reasons too. I know I'm going to talk about the movie in a second here.
There's no use arguing with this joint. Siegel runs it himself. Step on it.
When he was vice president, Richard Nixon, through intermediaries, reached out to Howard Hughes to set up a assassination squad to go after Castro and other revolutionaries. The same team, it is said, also assassinated the president in 1963. All of that to say, it is very interesting that Howard Hughes, of all people, is producing the definitive public narrative of the rise and supposed fall of one of the most criminal enterprises in the United States. I think I've been on record here previously saying that while I really like mafia films, at least the American variety, I'm very rarely drawn to them. But with Scarface, this movie is fucking incredible. I felt that I already knew that Howard Hawks was an absolute master, but I'm just now beginning to realize how much I've underestimated him. Already here in 1932, not only does it invent a narrative archetype that becomes the template for every other mafia movie to come after it. I mean, we're still chasing and riffing off of this film's stylish, highly technical, lavish aesthetic and visual effects choices. I give Scarface 1932 5 stars. More than just about any other film I can think of from this time, this film really connected with me on every level, from the technical to the performative to the writing to the cultural context, the kind of meta-apparatus implications of it. The film feels remarkably dangerous. I mean, not only does it seductively portray the aspirational climb of a mafia boss, it shows that it's not a viable long-term strategy. Oh, but what a fall it is. I don't know. I need to spend much more time with Howard Hawks. And, 93 minutes.
In 1931, the world was horrified by the motion picture Frankenstein.
Frankenhooker is exactly what you want from a movie called Frankenhooker.
In 1990, the makers of Basket Case and Brain Damage bring you... Want a date?
It is immediately demented, perverted, and low-key totally brilliant. I think it might be easy to classify this movie as sort of like, a satirical parody, but I think that would strip the film of its obvious earnestness. I think it's just coming from such a unique vector, this sort of EC Comics / mad / hustler, / art punk. You'd really be missing some really incredible storytelling. The entire cast in this is incredible in all their own unique ways. I mean, but really, Patty Mullen. Good God.
She's got fresh scars on her. She's in the bar.
I give Frankenhooker 4 stars.
No other. A tender story.
So yeah, if you liked Young Frankenstein and wanted a sequel that had sensational 80s body horror that was even hornier,
Incredible.
You kind of can't go wrong.
Some assembly may be required.
There is probably an incredible feminist Freudian reading of this film, from the pseudo-phallus, the boundaries of masculine and feminine identity, sex roles in American society, how queer relationships do or don't fit in with the greater population, with the greater culture. But I just want to say, first and foremost, well, I guess technically second, I am falling in love with Joseph H. Lewis.
Find the people, they just see us in these outfits.
Gun Crazy is bananas. It's a sort of Bonnie and Clyde / Macbeth, a man's battle with figurative, literal impotence. John Dahl's playing a rather curious character who completely loves and is, in fact, crazy for guns, but at a very early age killed a small animal and swore off ever using guns against living beings, I guess? Yet finds himself completely infatuated to the point of climax. I mean, you don't see it, but I mean, if you've seen John Dahl on Rope, this guy just gushes in bated breath at the very thought of firing a gun. And when he finds a woman who shares his hyper affinity for the death penis that does not even dispense death, their romance bubbles over and inherently becomes at odds with the rest of society. It's a bit of a fever dream of a film. I give Gun Crazy 3.5 stars. For as much absolute batshit crazy, psychotic mayhem, fun that this film has and invents, I feel like maybe it fell a little too in love with its inventions. This shot / scene in particular, where they rob the bank and the camera stays in the back seat, dollies forward and looks out the window, all in one shot while Bart is inside robbing the bank. I think this is, the director's main responsibility. I think that this would have been better served if we were inside the bank with Bart, because he's our main character, and we're seeing him walk right up to the line of potentially using his gun against other people for the first time, and we just totally missed that, and instead we get it a few minutes later when he's shooting at an inanimate object. I don't know, it didn't quite work for me. I mean, it didn't keep me from enjoying it. It'd be interesting to look at this one back-to-back with Crime Wave by De Toth. I loved that movie. And just a few years later, pays homage to this very same shot. To greater effect? I don't know.
Look behind us now, will you? Is there anything in back of us? The pickup on this thing.
It's all right.
You sure there's no one behind us?
It's all right. Go on, keep going.
I'm definitely going to have to look deeper into the Lewis stack over at Videotech.
You telling me? Go on, keep going.
I know what I'm doing. Look again. Did anyone make that turn behind us?
No.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm quite sure. Oh my God!
All right. The Beguiled 1971. I rented both of these this week because, well, a number of reasons. What really put me over the top was seeing Sofia Coppola in Godfather 3, absolutely loving her performance, and realizing, like an idiot, I've allowed myself to lapse in her filmography. But before watching her Beguiled, I wanted to watch this. Don Siegel's and Clint Eastwood's take on the 1966 book by the same title, which I have not read. I was immediately struck by the very bold choice in Siegel's version to feature multiple voiceover POVs, multiple character voiceovers. It kind of immediately made me wish that he didn't, only because I think every single actor's performance was clearly already communicating what is being said. But then I also found it very interesting that we weren't hearing John's, Clint Eastwood's voiceover. But we do, through Siegelian montage flashback, see what he saw, what he did, which is a very interesting device. Because what do we know about voiceover in Hollywood cinema? Narrators are inherently unreliable. But visuals, cinematic montages, we tend to believe those a little bit more. I'm not saying anything new, but I think Siegel has done a masterful job at constructing a very tense, completely taut, psychological, psychosexual body horror thriller. I'm casually familiar with his oeuvre, but I'm finally starting to grasp what so many before me have clutched onto in Siegel's work.
The sexual enemy.
I'm gonna have the run of this place. One is I'm gonna be with any young lady that desires my company.
I give The Beguiled 1971 4 stars.
Just because I didn't go to your bed.
At sometimes, Siegel's atomized directorial style is appropriately claustrophobic, is appropriately fragmented. I feel here it definitely lends itself to the sort of fever dream of this narrative. All the women in this are incredible. Eastwood is, I don't know how you step into his shoes. This is the same year as Dirty Harry, and I think it's also worth noting this is the same year Peckinpah does Straw Dogs. Clute is also the same year. The Devils, Clockwork Orange, A New Leaf, Play Mystique. Jesus Christ, Eastwood was on fire in 71.
We ask for your protection over our school, and we pray that we will be kept from harm throughout the night.
Sofia Coppola's The Beguiled 2017 is one of the most, if not the most, beautiful Southern American Gothic horror films. I really need to stop listening to other people. Actually, you should probably stop listening to me if you're listening to me. And I'll just, wow, listen to this guy. Just whatever movies you're thinking about watching, just go watch them. Is this my favorite Sofia Coppola movie? No. I think Lost in Translation is probably my favorite. I really liked Marie Antoinette. I really liked On the Rocks. I thought The Bling Ring was okay. I actually liked Somewhere. I should rewatch that. I thought The Virgin Suicides was really good, and I still need to see Priscilla. Anyway, with all that, I was hesitant to watch The Beguiled because I had heard it wasn't that great. I don't know what they were expecting. Maybe they didn't see the original from 1971 like I did, which makes both films more interesting, in my opinion. Coppola made every right decision. She personalized it, she shifted the POV, and she shifted the genre. And she just knows how to make every shot the most beautiful gift wrap present you've ever seen. I'm either waiting in anticipation for the shot to unfold, or I'm just admiring its beauty and texture. I give The Beguiled 2017 by Sofia Coppola 3.5 stars. I think both films share an underlying problem of believability, and I think both run up to the limitations of choosing either perspective. I think it kind of leaves some unexplored territory because of those imposed limitations. In this case, without spoiling too much, works a little less story-wise, but that's kind of also not really why you're here.
Oh, what have you done to me? You vengeful bitches!
Definitely has me eager to see Priscilla now. But I also kind of want to watch it against the Presley movie. Thank you so much for watching. You can follow me on Instagram and X to see what movies I'm renting next. And pretty much everything is on my letterbox. I am going to